Good evening, everyone, and it's a pleasure to welcome you all to Lion and Lilac's National Poetry Day 2022 event on the theme of the environment. Yeah, so we are celebrating everything, or not just celebrating, talking about pivotal issues around the environment this year, and that is the celebration that's going on all around the UK. And for those who do not know a lot about us at Lion and Lilac, Lion and Lilac is a UK art and cultural organization. So we are based here in the United Kingdom, and we pride ourselves as a home for underrepresented writers. So for most of the events that we do, we try to be the place where Black writers, writers from underrepresented communities can find a place to hang their work. And apart from apart from periodical literary events that we host at Lion and Lilac, we also have a literary magazine and we accept literary works all year round. So if you are looking for a place, for a home for your work, consider submitting to us. Yeah, and you can actually find out more information about us at lionandlilac.org. So that's it. So like I mentioned earlier, today we are spotlighting, all around the UK, today being the National Poetry Day celebration. So we are spotlighting everything that has to do about the environment. And Lion and Lilac has put together this event to lend our own voice on issues surrounding the environment. And the first poet that I'll be bringing up this evening is JB Favor. Let me just admit a couple of more people. Yeah, so the first poet that we're bringing up this evening is JB Favor. JB Favor is a ghostwriter and poet who has helped several authors ghostwrite their memoirs, autobiographies, fiction and non-fiction books, with some of her works being produced into film. She is the author of a mini anthology, Once Upon a Virus, a survival poetry collection of the COVID pandemic that rocked the world. Her other works have appeared in the Newcastle Review UK, Brittle Paper, Lion and Lilac, Intellectual Inc. Magazine USA, Agape Review, and elsewhere. So welcome with me, JB Favor, who will be performing a poem to us this evening.
Tolu, and a warm evening to everyone else. Happy National Poetry Day. And today, in line with the theme for our National Poetry Day, I've prepared a poem, and that this one is titled, "The Earth is a Woman." So I'll be doing a reading of this poem. It's titled, "The Earth is a Woman." The earth is a woman. Her voluptuous curves excite men. They call it nature's wonder. Her hips sway with fertile goodness. The bringer of new births and fresh beginnings. Her eyes are a clear forest green. Green for the fields, green for the river bays, green for hilltops and essential chlorophyll. She walks in majestic splendor, swaying her waist laden with fertility. Into the open squares where men gawk and stare. Arms akimbo, mouth agape with a certain fix, like a snake charmer's music she tempts. Her heart is large, a home for all she is. She brings food, shelter, and warmth. Her bosom provides lodgings for man and beast. She is tame, yet her hair ravages wild. Black thick afro curls with tendress the color of the soil and dust. She dances in the square with the townsmen who admire her in the daylight, yet stalk her at night. Led by their selfish desires, they seek to entrap her. What makes her such a wonder, they ask? Each man wants a piece of her. They want to divide her hair. They grab in handfuls, tangling those lushy coils. They say she's better with a straight hair. They've brought some liquids to give her a straight perm. Chemicals they know not of, yet with her hair they wish to experiment. She screams and yells, her nails clawing into their skin as she fights back. Let my afro be. Do not try to take away my calls. Hold her still. Let's make you better, they say. She trashes about, her arms flaying in protest. Her clothes are ripped apart. Let's see this wonder you are, they say. To the barest, they've stripped her open. Her beautiful skin is scarred in the process. Untamed hooligans. They have let their curiosity ruin her. Every scar drips a thick red blood. She shivers in the dark, scaring the men. They light a fire with hopes of keeping her warm. The flames burn and burn. In their confusion, they forget she's closest to the heat. The earth is a woman, and here she lies violated, open, wounded, burning, bleeding, crying. In her dying breath, she sings a sad song, her green eyes now brimming red with pain. Let me be, let me be. In pursuit of wonder, wonder is lost. Do not seek to fix that which was never broken. Let me be, let me be. Why do you try to tame me? Let me be, let me be. The earth is a woman. Let her be.
Wow, that was very, very powerful and profound. Wow, Earth is a woman. Let her be. Great metaphors, great imagery, profound poem. Thank you, JB Favor. Is that everything?
Yes, that's everything.
Amazing poem, beautiful one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So basically, let me welcome everyone again who has just joined us like during the performance. Yeah, so this is Lion and Lilac's National Poetry Day event for 2022. And we are happy to have everyone here with us this evening. The next poet who will be performing this evening is Peter Okonkwo, and I'll be reading his bio. Peter Okonkwo was born in Akure, a city in the southwestern part of Nigeria. He is a freelance writer, editor, fatalist, literary critic, soon to be novelist of HS Destiny, and the certified orator from the Friendship Leadership Institute of Nigeria. Peter is the author of 6 poetry collections: Ecstasy of the Dead, Fate in the Dungeon of Doom, Whose Fault, Kismet, or Intelligence, and Escape from the Unseen Dungeons. Book series: A Cry for Mercy, How the Demons Live, and I Saw the Light. He is gifted with the aptitude to explore and demystify certain difficult life issues through provoking, raw, arresting, transcendent poetry. Peter is the host of P English Literature channel, YouTube channel, where he reviews books and conducts interviews with authors around the world. So for those who do not know Peter, Peter is one of the biggest Nigerian booktubers on YouTube, and he does a whole lot of work for not just the Nigerian literary community, for the global literary community, reviewing books, dissecting books, and expanding the frontiers of literature worldwide. It's my pleasure to invite Peter Okonkwo to the podium this
Thank you
evening.
so much. I really appreciate it. That's quite an introduction. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's some sound coming from my background, but I'll just go ahead and recite the poem that I've got here.
I think you're fine.
Okay, thank you. So I'll be reciting the poem titled "The Flood That Leaves Us Homeless." The flood that leaves us homeless. It's a poem of 4 stanza and just a short one. So it goes like this. Like a joke, it began like a gentle fall, and we could hear the sound of rain pattering outside. We have waited too long for the season of rain after we've endured a great drought. We're happy that the rain had come again and the young ones danced while it rained. We do not know that what we've waited too long for had come to leave us homeless. It rained heavily at midnight when everyone was fast asleep. I wish I could stop the rain when it began to fall unstoppably. The sound of running water was heard from a far distance. When it began to get weird, I screamed, "It is enough," forgetting that rain did not understand English. It rained and rained that every bowl was full. Streams were overflowing and we cannot tell the position of the riverbank. Everywhere has been flooded by water. Even the fish questioned what was happening. The flood extended from the riverside to residential areas. Everyone began to flee, leaving their property. We were being pursued by water. Some couldn't survive it. The flood swallowed our houses. Where's my father's car? It'd been carried away by flood. I could see it dancing to the tonality of the water wave on the river of Lokoja. In my house, it sank like the great Titanic. How about my neighbor's baby? She had lost her life because she cannot swim. How do we control the water that has come with great speed to destroy her farms, properties, and even kill us? We never knew that a flood had come to leave us homeless. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. And that was a wonderful poem. And it shows like what, part of the dangers of the present times in terms of climate change, flooding everywhere, and all the issues in the present day world. That was a very, very beautiful poem. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
So carrying on with the events, I don't know if Omotayo Sangofadeji is in the house, but Omotayo, are you with us this evening? I don't think she's around. So before we carry on, I will read a short poem from my collection of poems, A God in a Human Body, just to in line with today's event, the theme of the event. Yeah, so this poem is titled Flood and Fire. And that is from my collection of poems, A God in a Human Body. The flood that swept the great oak tree was a vicious storm. Say, Storm Nancy, why give precious names to these callous winds? The flood that washed away the fig tree was a talking drum. How do we name a barren tree without an axe to grind? The fires that left California in brazen ruins were louder than firecrackers. Why do we hang climate change with a loose tag, oaks? The fire that turned the Amazon into a dark shadow was hollow and grave. How do we open the heavens to scour respite from this raging heat? Thank you very much. Now going on with our schedule. The next poet and writer that we're bringing on to perform is Rotimi Oshiyoyi. Rotimi, are you around?
Yes, I'm around.
Okay, all right. Let me just look for you and bring you up. Profile, 1 sec. Can you please put on your camera while I do the introduction, please?
Yep.
Yeah, so Rotimi is the founder of a media agency that sources for talents that are interested in media, content creation, and entertainment in general. Rotimi is presently working at training over 50 undergraduates on new media and content creation. He has produced over 80 content and has published on YouTube and other social media platforms. He is also the author of a book titled Digital Affection, New Frontiers for Relationships. Welcome, Rotimi Oshiyoyi. We are ready for you.
Okay, thank you. I shall be reading them. When dams of destruction. Flood displaces Nigerians as Cameroon opens dams. We are damned by this dam of destruction. This humongous wave, brittle like wild harmattan, spewing aspirations, washing threads of memories. This water sheds moments from friendly enemies. As many are lives, a dam of worries and flooded dreams. This is dam of destruction.
Thank you very much. Do you have any other one, or it's just slides?
Well, I have another one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, please. Not all losses are bad. You left through the exit as though you were spilled out of the door's mouth. But isn't this true? Isn't this what my heart longs for? You wear innocence so beautifully, but a fountain of lava flows below your skin like volcano. It erupts through your mouth to lick the glory of my bliss. Maybe it's a loss, but definitely not a bad one. That is, not all losses are bad.
Thank you very much, and for the wonderful poems. And it goes to show that, like, your first poem was dialing back to the theme of the environment. It goes to show that one country opening up its dam and, states in Nigeria, Nigerian people facing the consequences of that action. And that goes to show, like, the effects of climate change, or even just policies by government, how it impacts people, not just in Nigeria, but all around the world. We heard of what happened in Florida. We know of the fires in California. We were all inundated with Australia with the burning forest, bushes, the Amazon and everything. Yeah, so I think it's quite a pivotal one, talking about the environment. And thank you for sharing those beautiful points with us this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so going on with our schedule for the evening, the next poet that will be joining us is Omotayo Zainab-Raji. Let me bring you up to the podium, to the virtual podium.
Hi, everyone.
You're welcome. Let me just read your profile briefly before I hand the mic over to you.
Okay.
With raving reviews as a writer with a difference, Zainab was born and raised in Nigeria, a graduate of accounting and a former sales accountant. Zainab, oh, sorry, one sec. Let me just, Zainab enjoys writing when she's not busy crunching numbers. Her debut work, Oceans in Your Lungs, is a collection of poems that explores themes such as love, chaos, and mental health. She lives in Northampton with her husband and their two daughters. She is currently working on her next book, a collection of poems inspired by life and nature. Yeah, so make welcome Zainab Omotayo Aji.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure, carry on.
Okay. The title of my poem is Symphony of the Fairies. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, carry on.
Okay. The title of the poem is Symphony of the Fairies. What joy I found when I stepped outside my bricks and mortar into a world without bounds. A water fairy bade me welcome as she drizzled onto health and settled on my skin so warm, like gentle dew she felt. Like a snowflake in the summer, my pain did melt. But it wasn't long before an hair fairy whisked me away. It slipped into my nostrils, and my lungs knew they had seen a day. I felt 10 times more alive. I felt so light I could soar the skies, but it wasn't long before a fire fairy lit my eyes. It flamed and sparked in passion. The air turned warm in response. I could have watched his veil forever. I could have hugged and kissed the weather, but it wasn't long before an health fairy crawled under my feet. She made my blood rush. With her, I wanted to meet and sit. Her texture felt just like my skin. Her brown, a color like me. But it wasn't long before a winged fairy flew past my head. He flapped with gaiety. His merriment a tease to make me less still. So much so, I jumped the most I could. I flew my hand and feet like a little child wound, and as they faded into dark and stars filled the white sky, I stepped back into the cozy of my bricks and mortar. Yes, I was not the same to walk in, who had walked out. In my soul, a restful bliss. In my ear, a symphony. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and great to have you here, and thank you for performing your wonderful poem with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me here.
The pleasure is mine. So for those who are just joining us, as you already know, this is Lion and Lilac's National Poetry Day 2022 event, and the theme of this year's event is the environment, and everyone around the world is big on, talks around climate change, around the environment, and this is a very big and topical issue around the world. And so I think it's a really important theme for this year's National Poetry event, because what poetry does is poetry stokes up conversation around issues, not just regional issues, but national issues, issues that affect like world affairs. So I think it's very important that this year's National Poetry Day is all about the environment, and the environment, whatever affects the environment affects us in myriad of ways. Talking about, a lot of we've heard poems talking about flooding, about fire, about the earth. And that's just whatever, like where flood happens, a lot of this dam of destruction, We've seen a lot of, issues around nations opening up dams and affecting other countries. And yeah, so climate change is very big. And so I think this year's event is actually a very good one, a very topical one. And kudos to everyone involved in the UK who are reading poems in, throughout the day, just talking about the environment and how, because we are all children of nature, and whatever impacts nature impacts us all in one way or the other. So thank you all. And back to the lineup. The next poet I'll be bringing up to the podium, to my virtual podium here, is Olumide Ansen. So I will just add him to, I'll pin him up here first, then I'll read his bio. Olumide Ansen is a corporate governance professional with a passion and mastery of the pen. He's a legal practitioner and company secretary at one of the leading insurance companies in West Africa and has over a decade experience. Olumide holds a Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, and barrister at law from the Nigerian Law School. He is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, United Kingdom, and fellow Institute of Charter Secretaries and Administrators, United Kingdom. He is the writer of two short stories, Choices, and The Man Learns to Dance, as well as Vera, Latent Waves. So make welcome Olumide Ansen as he shares his body of work with us tonight.
Thank you, Tolu. Can you hear me?
Yes, carry on.
Thank you. I would be reading a poem titled, Don't Tell Mother. Don't tell mother that the orifice she created for natural dwelling, crafted with love, pain, and sacrifice, a shelter, a place of birth, resurgence, and regeneration. This orifice is now congested with air thick and foul, and now it chokes the one it was meant to resuscitate. Don't tell a mother that the pool she created, that evergreen source of rejuvenation, initially as pure as mother herself, now flows putrid, dense, with alien particles and toxins. That source of life is now the killer, and the habitat of organisms living within has now become their graveyard. Don't tell mother that the shelter which was once home to her children is now being destroyed by the ones she built it for. The space she modeled for glorification now burns with an unquenchable heat, flames thirsty for blood. Please don't tell mother that all these are acts of intent, lush vegetation, are now laid to waste, fruitful lands made desolate, and the home she birthed, through throes of anguish, is now being set ablaze, slowly fading to rains. That's the end of the first one. I have a second one, which is a short one, and it's titled My Body. My body, the beauty of creation and sustainability for all to behold. One nourished by its distinctive connected parts, discipled and disciplined by culture and consciousness of life. My body, hold the seed and its sustainer for my body has been corrupted. The plant and animal in my vineyard has lost its breath and drained of its livelihood to mankind. Even the cool comfort from a clapping of the trees and flowers in the garden vanished into the inferno of commercialization. My body, the feebleness of my body equals its sudden laid to waste by the love for his own excesses. Not by my conception that I have become the fruit of destruction, but by the indiscipline of many. My body, whole from the beginning but damaged in greed, failing longevity, who shall save my mind to save my body? Who shall save the blossomness of tomorrow by the acts of today? It is the responsibility of each one to save one for this body, my body, to be free. Thank you.
Well, those were, fantastic poems. And thank you for sharing your work with us this evening. We from a wonderful Nigerian lawyer. It's good to have lawyers in the house this evening. I know we have a lot of I know we have a lot of lawyers in the building. So thank you for sharing your work with us.
Thank you.
We enjoyed listening to them. Yeah, so carrying on with the schedule for the evening, the next poet that we're bringing up to the podium is Christtie Jay. So let me just add that to the podium first before I read about. Christtie Jay is the author of At War We Love. Christtie Jay is a Nigerian lawyer, writer, and spoken word artist who is passionate about language, its prowess, and possible use to compel and facilitate dialogue and social change. She is published in journals like Trampset, Rumpus, The Longhouse, Glass, the Journal of Poetry, Kissing Dynamite, Eastern Iowa Review, amongst others. And her works have won and been longlisted for poetry prizes from the Lagos Poetry Festival. And I will show you mine, show me yours poetry prizes. Welcome to the building. And yeah, one fun fact about Christtie Jay, she was the first poetry editor of Lilac Magazine. And she did all the fabulous work of setting us up to like the grand stage where we are today. So welcome, Christtie Jay.
Hi, everyone. If you went on any longer, I think my face will turn pink. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. It says your bandwidth is low, but
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
You can.
Okay. Okay. So I said good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So thank you to the team and the organization for inviting me today. Tonight, I have 3 poems that I would like to perform, if time allows. The first one is titled, If We Do Nothing, and it goes like this. Maybe if us humans weren't such great liars, maybe if we say things as they are, for example, not save the trees, bees, or earth, but save your lives, maybe then, and we would start to listen. So instead of a child, we would turn our guns on plastic, fossil fuel, sea dumpings, and the million other creative ways we have uncovered to butcher our breaths. Instead of the trees, we will slaughter our greed, sit happily in our poverty of gold, knowing no poverty can be greater than the poverty of bread and home. Because where else can house this body without a mat but here? And who else can we trust to show up on all our rainy days but the skies woo? But the trees will put on a dance concert, stretch a hand, hold our wrinkling bones without ever asking for a cent, even as we chop her down. Ooh, but the seas willingly welcomes our bodies, says yes to our salt, while she sings on the landfills and horrors for her, and horrors assembled for her by us. Ooh, but them, but this blue ball. So imagine we reward their kindness. Imagine we do not wait 10 years, 5 years, a day, another second, to stop feeding them blue, to be sorry, because we will be sorry. Because guess what? We are Earth. In the end, it is us who die. So that's the first poem. I'll be moving on to the second poem. I don't know if you can hear me. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can, yeah.
Okay. So the second poem is titled Breaking News. And it goes like this. Citizens, having sprayed bullets into our lungs, never again will we hold summer in our hair. Tomorrow, when the sun is out, you have to ask calls for apples, all farms already corrupted by oil. If you have a door, bolt it. If you do not, don't worry. The locks won't hold back the fire we find. To our well-being, we are sorry. You can have no oysters today. The president has instructed that all boats be grounded. The men's nets tired of bringing home floating fishes. Bear with us, please. The rivers are striking back and hard. Sadly, they have learned from us how to deflate beauty and build an altar of ruin, how to see a disaster coming and rush to water it. So that's the second one. And the third one is Untitled, is for the people of the Jesse community. So for those of us that might not know about Jesse, Jesse is a small town in Delta State, Nigeria, where I am from and currently living. In 1998, there was a pipeline explosion that journalists report affected everybody in Jesse. There was no family that didn't lose someone or something to that fire. And the tragedy is not even, for me, I don't even think the tragedy is just the fire alone, the pipeline and the lives and property lost. But the fact that the government, our government at the time, decided, like, threatened to go to hospitals and neighboring states to find people who reported for fire burns, to arrest them. This is despite the fact that the community, people in the community have been calling for a repair of the pipeline. The government blamed the people and then they went after them. So it's a short poem and it's untitled because I'm still working through it, but it goes like this. How many times with tired lungs they stalked hope, begged for the face of God and your arrival, cried for the expiration of the oil following them home. And the first time you show, it is to say, add fuel to the fire, it can burn brighter. So that's all from me for tonight.
Thank you very much, Christie, for honoring our invitation and for your profound poems as well. Everything about you, you know, apart from being a great poet, you are a fantastic spoken word artist as well. And it's always a pleasure to have you, listen to you, read your poems. And yeah, we look forward to your forthcoming works, your spoken word album, and all the literary goodness that you have in the works for us. So, and it's a pleasure to have you here tonight as one of our.
Thank you.
To have you here tonight as one of our headliners. And yeah,
thank you. I'm so grateful.
Very much. And we love your poems, and we're watching and listening over and over again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so moving on now, the next poet I'll be bringing onto the podium is Abayomi Abiru. Are you in the building? Yeah, okay, I can see you. Let me just add you. Okay. Can you please put on your camera, please? Hi, Abayomi.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, yeah. So Abayomi, let me just read his bio before he mounts the virtual podium to continue in line with tonight's theme of the environment. And we are here at Lilac's National Poetry Day event. Yeah, so Abayomi is a Nigerian writer with a knack for storytelling through poetry. He holds a master's degree in business systems analysis and design from the City University, London. He is also a certified cyber security personnel specialist. Abayomi has a passion for nature and storytelling. When not writing, Abayomi loves to have engaging conversations with people on the subject of politics and technology. Abayomi is the author of the debut collection of poems titled This City Knows My Name. Welcome to the virtual podium, Abayomi Abiru. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So this evening I'll be starting off with one of my poems called Remnants. It goes like this. We are remnants of the ruins and carnage of changing climates, sweeping floods and blistering hurricanes, wreaking havoc with ferocious verve. That's a. And I have one from my latest collection, This City Knows My Name. And the title is To Whom Do I Pray in This Land? You pray in the name of your God. I call in the name of my mother. For mother is a potent word, a healing stream of tears, and hands that know the secrets of herbs. Mother is a potent word, quick to prayers and nails that pull the world. I invoke in the name of my mother. She's given me the origin leaf. If I've offended you, I compel you to forgive me. She's given me the all leaf. Man and woman, young and old, look upon me with favor. You call on my name. You call on the name of your God. I call in the name of my mother. For my mother is the name of my mother's name is potent. And that's it.
Fantastic poems about your your poem alluded to. We are all remnants from all the issues that we face in the world today, climate change, because whatever happens in the world around us impacts us as a people, impacts our communities. And I agree with you that we are remnants of the ruins and the carnage that we face in the world today. And I think there have been a lot of poems tonight on mother, mothers. So yeah, mother nature, everything, So great poem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Omotayo Sangofadeji, are you here with us now? Is Omotayo Sangofadeji in the building?
Yes, she is.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me bring you to the virtual podium now that you're here, and please, can you please put on your camera, please?
Yes, thank you.
So Omotayo Sangofadeji is a financial consultant by day and a writer all the time. He has worked as a content creator for Pushcart Magazine. Her short stories have published in several online publications, including The Naked Covers and Stories NJ, former headliner at the 13th Radio First Community Music Festival. She has also performed at several book reading events and open mic shows in Northeast England. As a passionate gender equality advocate, she's the founder of Fight Against Rape, a non-profit organization that works to enlighten on consent and helps survivors of gender-based violence in Nigeria. She is also a co-founder of Lion and Lilac, and possibly the Lilac of Newcastle. Yeah, welcome to the virtual podium, Walter. It's great to have you here.
So my first poem is titled Berries and Thorns. I hit the nail on the head. A spring burst, a lavender grew. White doves seemed to form a wreath in the blue sky, flapping and frolicking. They made the day a gala until they would disappear in frenzy. As the sun came out in terror, its invisible fall of protection was gone. Its light scorched my lavender, and dead brown leaves fell. On the dried land, my spring had once adorned. My smile a frown turned, and an old man asked, "A penny for your truth?" But upwards I turned, to the next mountain hill. I hit the nail on the head. A stream flowed. Magnolias grew. I sat in spree and made a meal. I licked 10 spoons and left not a spill. A merry feeling, a merry sleep, until day rose and I awoke to chemicals, sipping into my magnolia stalks, desperately sucking their vibrant life dry. My smile a frown turned, my art a rock formed, and an old man asked, a penny for your truth? But I scoffed in scorn. Only 2 scoffs later, I promised 2 pence. If by my truth is follows, my truth is bitter, my truth is lonely, my truth is shared by the whole world. Yet I can't find many who care. My mother, the sun, and my father, the moon, weep with my sisters and brothers of green all over the earth. I have no more time to watch the wind rustle, no time at all to hear the birds sing. I am too busy trying to save the little I can of a world being rapidly ruined, and my offer of 2 pence was 1,000 pence too little for the old man's shrewd Sunday wisdom, how nature grows in silence, and appreciates our efforts for it the same, that my watering did not go to loss, and though little, I could change the world. The title of my second poem is The Wind. Sometimes the wind is underneath her, raising her up, assuring her that she's all that, and dropping her just when she dares to think she's all that. Sometimes the wind is in her, shattering all barriers, pushing out the suns that would have been just a whisper. Sometimes she is the wind and ready to sweep the world. The title of my third poem is My Mother. I remember my mother bending into corners and crevices, filled with roaches and despair. When she lost herself while trying to find herself, submerged in the shadows of my father. So when he said, if you love me, if you ever loved me, you'll forgive me and stay, I told him, I am too much of the wind to stay trapped in a bottle. My final read is titled Up North. It is not exactly about the environment, but it is about our world and about what is happening up north in Nigeria. 1,000 killed up north. These headlines have now become the norm. Every day, citizens wake up, puzzled with the mystery of who will be next, the misery of families in despair, wives crying for husbands who will never come home now, children crying for fathers they will never know, death named the villain, ignoring politicians doing the plundering. This vicious cycle, this very vicious cycle, where politicians loot the nation's coffers dry and send soldiers to war to die, where soldiers turn on the people they are meant to protect, fathers selling their wives to the highest bidders, so their sons and daughters don't starve to death, blood dripping, mixing with the clay, rolling down hills and turning into rivers, rivers drowning out the cries for help. Humanity has lost its heart. This madness is unexplainable. This cycle that is a disgrace to humanity. Yet we turn blind eyes and keep quiet, grateful the horror and terror isn't our story. A lot of times I find myself asking, will it ever end? What if it was my reality? What if it was your reality? Thank you, and thank you for having me this evening.
Oh, thank you very much. Such lovely and beautiful poems. You know, you are one of my favorite female poets.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for, all the work you do, Lion and Lilac, expanding the frontiers of literature, not just in the UK, but around the world. And yeah, so thank you so much for all your contributions to literary growth, development. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you too.
all your work as well. Yeah, so and you know what the poetry shows is that the the diverse voices that we've brought on tonight to perform as well. We've heard from a lot of voices, and I think that's one of the strengths of Lion and Lilac, being able to show all these, like showcase these diverse talents from around the world, whether they be in the UK, in Nigeria, anywhere just around the world. And that is what we pride ourselves on, by giving, giving our platform to underrepresented writers, not just even, we have a lot of established acts here tonight as well, but just making this a platform whereby we showcase the best of the best, and we promote the best from our own continent, to around the world. Yeah. So thank you so much, Omotaya, for those wonderful poems. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so carrying on with the schedule for tonight, the next poet I will be bringing on is Amife Sabatina. Let me add that audio. Hi, one sec. Oh, why can't I find? Okay, yeah, I'll send you. Yeah. Welcome, Amife. Let me just read your profile before yeah. Amife Sabatina is a Nigerian poet and writer, a romantic art, and also she writes poetry about love, life, and healing, drawing raw and honest feelings from the past, the present, and the potential of the self. After completing her degree in mass publication, she wrote and illustrated her first poetry collection, Little Words, bringing down her experience as a person trying to find her place in the world. In line with her never-ending love for storytelling and word crafting, Amife regularly writes witty and engaging articles on her website, amifeoluwa.com, where she enjoys a loyal readership. When she isn't writing, Amife is spending time outdoors or exploring creativity through art and fashion. She hopes to continue expressing herself through her stories and poetry for years to come. Thank you very much, Amife. Great to have you here with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. So I can go ahead with my poem, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the title of my poem is Weeping Willows. And yeah, of course, the theme is in line with the environment and how we care for it. When I paid attention, I saw it wasn't only I who cried. Tears are a tearing, and it isn't always water that bleeds. The skies are not as blue as they once were, not like the days we sat outside as kids, waiting for the sun to disappear. For moonlight had to be present to hear moonlight tales. We stared at the sky, counting its hours down, and it always stayed full of color till the very end. Who made the sky cry and bleed its blue? The oceans are not as clear as they once were, not like the days we played in streams and swam skillfully in rivers. We splattered water in indescribable joy. We bathed in it without a worry in the world. Who made the ocean cry and bleed its clean? The animals are not as free as they once were, not like the days we waved at eagles and kissed bluebirds goodbye. Careful not to step on an ant, careful not to ride a horse too hard. Who made the animals cry and bleed their wild? The trees are not as many as they used to be, not like the days we ran through forests, coarsely covered in shade. In those days, the air was fresh and the trees danced when we did. Who made the trees cry and bleed their barks? The soil is not as rich as it once was, not like those days we molded it into playhouses and planted seeds of sorts. The earth seemed eager for us. Its essence seemed present with us. Who made the soil cry and bleed its brown? Is it me? Is it you? Have we done to our world what we do to ourselves? Are you paying attention? Because when I paid attention, I saw that all of earth was weeping. When I paid attention, I saw that in every existing creation, something hurts. Thank you. That's the end of my poem.
Wow, that was a wonderful poem. The oceans are the oceans are crying. Animals are crying. Trees are crying. Everyone is crying.
Everyone is crying.
And me too, I'm crying right now because of living crisis. We are all crying.
Oh my God.
Who made, it's a wonderful poem, profound poem, and I think it leaves us thinking, like the days where people could just go to the ocean or just to streams to just take a dip. Now you dare not do that. It shows that the world has changed a whole lot, and so that's a great, profound poem here to share with us tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so carrying on, before I introduce the final act for tonight, just to once again reiterate that this is Lion and Lilac National Poetry Day 2022 event, and it's great to have you all here with us from the beginning of the event right to the end. And the final act headliner for the night is Jide Badmus. Jide Badmus is an engineer, a poet, inspired by duty and destruction. He believes that things in ruins were once beautiful. He is let me bring Jide to the virtual podium. Yeah, so he is the author of There's a Storm in My Head, Scripture, Paper Planes in the Rain, Paradox of Little Fires, Silk Pan, Anatomy of the Sun and Everything Beneath, Lost Alphabet and Obaluaye, FlowerSong Press 2022, and this latest collection of poems, What Do I Call My Love for Your Body, published by the Roaring Lion Newcastle 2022 as well. It was nominated for a Pushcart Prize in 2021. Badmus has curated edited anthologies such as That Dress, Coffee, Today I Choose Joy, and How to Fall in Love. He is founder of INKspiredNG, the poetry editor for Con-scio Magazine, and sits on the board of advisors for Libretto Magazine. Jide is married with 2 daughters. He writes from Lagos, Nigeria, and tweets at Badmus. And Jide Badmus is a very fine poet, one of Nigerian's finest poets, and we are happy to have you here with us tonight, Jide. Over to you.
Good evening, Paul. I'm happy to be part of it. While preparing for this, I thought about what poems I'll read, and I found out that over a period of time now, I've not really written a poem solely on nature, though I find myself weaving most of my poems around nature. And from all the poems read tonight, the constant thing is the disaster that comes with nature. And it also goes to tell how much we have hurt nature, how much we're not aware of nature. So the first poem I'll read is very short, just 3 lines. It's titled Drought. Just shows what we've done to nature to also make it react. I call it Drought. The forest has run out of timber. Paper mills are hungry, and pussies have forgotten the taste of meat. This is, the effect of deforestation. And yes, we cut trees to make books, to make money and all that. But at the end of the day, how do we spend money when we find ourselves in disasters? The next poem I'll read is from Obaluaye, and it's called Absence. Say, daylight is a poem in the mouth of the sun. Dawn is visual innuendo, light in bed with night. Silhouettes testify to an ever-present, never-sleeping sun, never-dying lamp in the sky. Not all things seen. I come again. Not all things not seen are absent. Not all things buried are dead. The tree stands without feet, art in the head. In my country, we hide stolen money in dry wells and join the masses to sing a hymn of dry mouths. This mostly talks about how we're not aware of nature around us. I also have one about flood generally. And this was an experience of about a month ago. I'm a practicing engineer, so I went to a client's place, and it's in Ikoyi, one of the eyebrow areas in Lagos. And funny enough, the mansion is, the road to the place is submerged in flood. I had to park somewhere, and they had to come pick me with their Jeep. Everybody living in that area, they have Jeeps because they cannot even use their salon cars to navigate the. So let me just read that poem. It's titled Amphibians. Wednesday morning, I needed Noah's boat to navigate Bank Road. I didn't know Ikoyi too could be this vulnerable when it rains. Some days we are fishes floating in dry aquariums, enthusiasts drowning in saltwater ambitions. Other days we are luxury pigs, comfortable in the muck. Big fish, big pond, big pillows. Big hippos are a butcher's delight. So we learn to be sleek as snakes, slip through fish nets. We wear the skins of crocs and fit dreams with fins and gills. Teach hope to be submarine. I hope I have time for one more poem.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Yeah, let me just read. And I'll take that from the latest book, What Do I Call My Love for Your Body? It's titled Camouflage. My lover's body is a beautiful disaster. Yesterday, she was volcano. Today, a tsunami. Who knows what form the storm will take tomorrow? Thank you.
And I know that was about love, but it also shows the ruins. Yeah. So today we are talking about. Yesterday we are talking about flooding. Today we are talking about something else, fire. We are talking about so different issues around. Yeah. So thank you, Jide. That was a fantastic performance. And for guys who are coming up in poetry, Jide Badmus comes highly recommended as a poet whose books would help you understand the nuances of poetry. Yeah, so it comes highly recommended. Jide, thank you so much for joining us tonight to perform as our National Poetry Day event, and it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
It's a pleasure to be there, to be here with everyone here. Thanks
very much. Yeah. So thank you everyone for staying the course of tonight's National Poetry Day event with us. It's our pleasure to have you join us to perform your wonderful poems with us and listen to you all read from your works. And we hope to keep in touch with you for we hope to keep you informed about our future events. A big thank you to all of our headliners, to all the featured poets tonight as well. The link to tonight's event will be up on YouTube at some point, and we'll be happy to share the link once it's out. Thank you so much, and we hope you join us for future events. And I also want to thank the team at Lion and Lilac for the support to put this event together. So thank you all for coming and joining us for tonight's event. Thank you very much.